What up, though? This is your boy Polo with Polo Fields Lawn Service. I hope that you all are having a good one. I'm gonna get right into this video. This video is about spring tips on getting your lawn ready for the springtime. Spring is here. It's time to get ready for the spring. Let's go. Now, before I get this video started, I just want to tell you all, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have more videos coming. This is a spring video, but I'm going to have a video for every season. So this video is going to help you get your lawn ready for the springtime. I'm gonna have another video before we get to the summertime that's going to help you get your lawn ready for the summer. I'm gonna have another video that's going to help you get your lawn ready for the fall, and then I'll have another one that's going to help you get your lawn ready for the winter time. You're going to have a video for every season before we get into that season, so you will know what type of fertilizer you need to use, how high you need to be cutting, how often you need to be cutting. Make sure that you tune in, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell, because every time I put a video up, you will be notified. Tip number one is going to be basically you getting out in your lawn and observing your lawn. Your lawn just came out of the wintertime, whether it was caked up with snow or it was so cold outside that your grass was frostbit. You need to get out there and look at your lawn. Sometimes your grass will be laying over on the soil. If it's laying over, get you a rake and just kind of lightly rake the grass up so that it can get some airflow and some water down into the soil like how it needs to be. Now, you don't need to get out there and be doing a power rake like you're raking up leaves. Only thing you're doing is just lifting those grass blades up so that it can be able to get ready to receive the nutrients and everything that it needs to do. You're just ruffling the feathers of the grass. That's all you're doing. Observe your lawn. See where your trouble spots are. See where your good spots are. You're just basically just looking at your lawn and seeing what your grass went through in the winter season. Tip number two is going to be about mower maintenance. First thing you need to do is you need to sharpen your blades. Don't go out there cutting your grass with a dull blade or the blade that you used last year. It's a brand new season. Let me give you a tip of what could happen. Let's just say, for example, ladies, you go to your beautician, or fellas, you go to the barbershop to go get your hair cut. And your beautician or your barber basically left some scissors outside all winter. And they got rained on, snowed on, everything. And then they bring those scissors in to cut your hair with. You know what's gonna happen to your hair? Your hair is going to break off. It's going to tear your hair. It's going to rip it. It's not going to grow in right. And ladies, y'all know y'all not gonna love it. Fellas, it's gonna hurt when he's trying to give you a tight taper fade with some rusty clippers or with some rusty scissors. It's not gonna be good for you. Same thing applies with your lawn. If you go out there with a dull blade and you cut your grass, the only thing you're gonna do is stress your grass out. It's going to have brown tips on the top of it. It's going to be ripped. It's going to be torn. It's not going to grow in right. And you're going to regret it when that heat comes, because it's going to look really, really bad. So make sure that you sharpen your blades. Either you go to a hardware store and see if they do it, or go to your local mower shop, but get your blade sharpened. Another thing that you need to do is make sure that you clean up under those mowers. Don't go out there mowing and you have all of that grass that's caked up under the mower from last year. Your mower's not going to get the proper airflow that it needs when it is cutting. So make sure that you get you maybe like a little paint scraper or something like that. Lift your mower up, get up under there, get all of that stuff up under there, throw it away, and then you can be able to start fresh. Tip number three. This is a big one. This is about fertilizer. Now I'm gonna try to make it as plain, as simple as possible for everyone that may not be familiar with fertilizers. Let me just give you an example. Whenever you go to a store, you're going to be greeted with 3 numbers on the front of the bag. You see this one right here? This one is a 2905. The very first number stands for nitrogen. Nitrogen is basically what greens up your grass. That's what makes the grass grow. As Alan Haynes says, that's what drives the bus. Nitrogen is what you need to get your grass growing. That's number one. Number two, the next number in this fertilizer is a 0, but this basically stands for phosphorus. Phosphorus is basically for root development. And I'm gonna try to make it simple for you. If you're not planting any grass seeds or anything, you don't need a fertilizer that has phosphorus in it, unless you have gotten a soil test and the soil test recommends that you use a fertilizer that has phosphorus in it. But if you're just trying to fertilize your yard in the springtime, majority of the fertilizers are not going to have phosphorus in it anyway, but phosphorus is for root development. The third one right here, this one is a 5. This basically stands for potassium. Now, potassium is basically for the overall health of the plant, or it's for stress relief. Both of the grasses go through stressful periods. So you basically need to have a fertilizer that has some potassium in it. Most fertilizers, the potassium is going to be maybe like a 4, a 5, a 6, or something like that. It's not going to be a really high number. General fertilizers are going to have a low number in potassium, and that's fine because you just want to help it out just coming out of stress or when you're about to go into a stressful period. Now, you basically have what you need as far as for the fertilizers. You know about N, which is nitrogen, P, which is phosphorus, and K, which is potassium. Now, of course, if you've gotten a soil test and the soil test tells you that you need some phosphorus, then you need to get a fertilizer that's going to have some phosphorus in it. But if you have a soil test, you're already winning because you already know what your line is deficient in and you know exactly what you're going to need to put into your line. There's so many videos of where you can be able to learn things about soil tests, but I got to plug my homeboy Cam at Elevated Landscapes. Y'all go to his YouTube channel. He has a series where he's talking about soil tests. You can learn everything you want to learn on that series about his soil test videos that he just set up and did. And that's of course if you are basically into it, getting deep into it, and you want to learn more about your line. Number 4 is going to be just about cutting. Now, most people are going to cut their line 1 time a week, and that's fine. But if you really want your line to thicken up and you really want your line to respond the right way and to look good and be healthy, cut that thing 2 times a week, man. Now we've made it to tip number 5. And tip number 5 is simple. Get out there and enjoy the mow, man. Pop your headphones in, listen to some gospel music, some rap, some R&B, some rock, some jazz, some classical, whatever floats your boat. And then just enjoy the mow. Take your mind off of everyday life. Get out there, cut your grass, and enjoy yourself. That's the only thing that you need to do. That's your time away from your busy schedule for you to be able to enjoy your grass, because you know good and well when you get done cutting it, you're going to back up and look at it like, you're going to be looking at those lines, making sure that they're straight, making sure that your edge is straight on the sidewalk. You're going to be checking it out. So take your time with it. I understand if you have a busy schedule and you got to hurry up and cut your grass and go to the next thing. I understand all of that. But take your time, take your mind off of everything that's going on in this world. It's a lot that's going on. And then just sit up there and enjoy cutting your line. Enjoy cutting your green line. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. Once you start taking good care of your line, you're going to look at it differently. Most people want to dominate their neighbors. And I tell you what, if your grass is looking good, you're going to look at your grass, and then you're going to look at your neighbors, and then you're going to smile. Pat yourself on the back. You did a good job. Well, that about wraps this video up. I hope you all have enjoyed this spring tip video. They don't call me Mr. Domination for nothing. I dominate my neighbors, and I'm trying to help you dominate yours. I'll see y'all later. Peace.